How many undocumented foreigners are in South Africa? What's your guess? A few thousand? Hundreds of thousands? The truth is, no one really knows. I suppose that is the point of being somewhere, hiding in plain sight. At most, South Africa deports between 15 and 20,000 every year, and you can bet many of those find their way back into the country. So, what's the solution? Tighten our laws or better manage our porous borders? Dare we try to legalize those already here? Won't more just keep coming in? Home Affairs Minister Dr. Motsoaledi says we need to press the reset button on immigration. He's extended the deadline for public comment following the publication of the white paper on citizenship, immigration and refugee protection last November. You now have until the end of January to have your say on proposals for a complete overhaul of the migration system. He joins us now on the line. Minister, firstly, we understand you've had a bit of a spell of bad health. We're hoping you're in better spirits. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. Good morning to the listeners. And since this is our first interview, I'll say compliments of the new season to you and the listeners.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed, I heard, but I started work on the 15th, on Monday.
All right. Well, welcome.
And I'm okay now. I'm back at work.
Welcome back to work. So, Minister, this extension is because of the deluge of submissions and public comments already received and many organizations who still want to have their say.
Yes, we did receive a lot of letters of people who were asking for extension because they said the government gazette we released was coinciding with the beginning of the festive season. And now that people are back, they would like to sit, consult, and consider. And they thought the 19th is too near. We need to extend it. So we extended it to the end of the month, yes, the 31st of January.
Can you give us a hint of sentiments already expressed?
No, I haven't gone through them. Yet.
Yeah.
Remember, they are not received by me. They are received by officials. They are still taking them. Mine was just to say people are asking for extension. It means many of them are now responding, and let's grant them the extension.
All right. But you've also, of course, said many voices around the country have been calling for an effective policy, but also effective measures to deal with immigration.
Well, indeed, we accept that fully. And if you read the white paper, which we are proposing very closely, you realize that, yes, we do mention all those things.
It's been some time since the paper came out. Critics have responded, of course, and have said, some of them, that maybe the issue isn't so much the legislation, but rather the management of the border that's the problem. What's your response to that?
It's both. It is definitely both. If they've been working in Home Affairs, they will have known. We have got enough experience to know that it is both. But remember that the Border Management Authority is a new entrant on the scene. And we have considered to that when people complain about porous borders, we responded by the establishment of the Border Management Authority. But the problem, which we also considered to, is that after NICOC, the structure that coordinates intelligence units in South Africa, coordinating military intelligence, police intelligence, financial intelligence center, and even state security, mentioned 10 years back that they've got problems when they were doing intelligence estimate, that they've got problems at the borders. But it took another 10 years for Parliament to finally pass the Border Management Authority bill so that we put up a structure. But eventually it was put, it's very new, and I can tell you it has started being effective. So that's one of the areas that we are doing. But if you read the white paper, we are also saying the bill itself must also be redone to align with all the other acts that play in the area of migration.
We saw over the December period members of the Patriotic Alliance, you might argue, harassing would-be illegal entrants at the border recently, perhaps a political stunt, but doesn't it underscore how easily people are still crossing into South Africa? And of course, it wasn't that long ago that Carte Blanche exposed SANDF members taking bribes to allow people to come in.
Well, we can't claim, Bongani, that people are not entering the borders illegally anymore. now that the border management authorities, but we don't want exaggeration, which was done by Patriotic Alliance, simply because people don't understand and don't know how the borders are working. We can't. But the first thing I want to mention, there is nowhere in the world where a border is so tight that nobody can go through. If that was the case, during the most tight period of borders in South Africa, the freedom fighters would not have been going out. Some of us were responsible for keeping freedom fighters out of the country, even with tight borders. So we know very well, even during that time, how borders used to work. We still know that now. So I want to dissuade people from the belief that there is any border anywhere in the world that cannot be breached. It does not exist. That's the first thing. The second thing, that scene which was done by the PA was very unfortunate, extremely unfortunate, and we've asked the police to investigate because I saw people brandishing guns there, which should not be. The little I know is that even if your gun is licensed, as a civilian, you have got no right to brandish it in public. Only law enforcement agencies can do so. The second thing is what people have seen there, and I need to explain it, Bongani. You know, the young boys who were carrying plastic bows there and all that were not attempting to cross into South Africa, I must state. Those are the people we call facilitators. They are there every day of the year, whether there's Patriotic Alliance or not, they are there. Even today, I guess they'll be there because their job, which is illegal, of course, I agree, is to help people to cross the border and the people pay them. If they've got no clients, they won't cross anybody because they depend on clients just like it takes. Our border guards know about them and they are watching them every single moment. They will only act if they start their job of making somebody to cross to the border. The area where they were sitting is their side of the border, of the river. In terms of international law, the international border is in the middle of the river, which means Zimbabwe has got its part of the river and South Africa has got its part of the river. There is a belief, which is wrong, that South Africa owned the Limpopo River. We don't own that river. It's an international river, and people on both sides have got the right to use their side of the river. So as long as they stand with the boats on their side of the river, it will be provocative and quite
sure.
Internationally, it's quite vigilantism to try and chase people when they are on their side of the river, meaning they are in their country, and shout them from this side because you believe they threaten you. It's very wrong.
Yeah.
But all those things will be corrected in due course when people start understanding how the borders are managed. And lastly, border management is not a 30-minute thing as it was being purported. Border management is 24 hours. The border guards are there for 24 hours. And border management is not a 50-meter area. It's 4,772 kilometers on which the border guard work for 24 hours, for 7 days a week. Whether it's raining or whether there's a storm, they are always there. And so we are very happy with their work up to so far.
All right. Minister Aaron Motsoaledi is the Minister of Home Affairs. Thank you for your time this morning.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.